Imagine waking up 12,000 years ago. There is no cigarette in your pocket, no lighter, no store, no tobacco farm. But somewhere nearby, someone is sitting beside a fire watching smoke rise into the darkness. They crush a strange plant between their fingers. They place it near the flames. And then they breathe in. Not because they are trying to relax, not because they are addicted, because they just discovered something that would change human behavior forever. The strange truth is this. Humans may have been using smoke long before cigarettes existed, long before factories, long before tobacco became a global industry. The history of smoking begins not with modern humans. It begins with curiosity and fire. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived beside flames. Fire provided warmth, protection, cooked food, light, but fire also created something else, a substance that humans could smell from hundreds of meters away. Smoke. And smoke had a strange effect. It disappeared into the air. It carried the scent of plants. It changed the way people felt, and eventually humans began wondering, what happens if we breathe it in? For a long time, researchers believed smoking was a relatively recent invention, maybe a few thousand years old. But archaeology revealed something much older. Around 12,000 years ago, during the late Ice Age period, humans in North America were already using tobacco plants. In 2021, archaeologists studying the Wishbone site in Utah discovered 4 ancient pipes. Inside those pipes were chemical traces of tobacco. The pipes were approximately 12,300 years old. This means humans were smoking tobacco thousands of years before agriculture began, before cities, before writing, before civilization as we know it. Someone was already sitting beside a fire, inhaling smoke from a plant. But tobacco was not the first thing humans smoked. The first smokers were probably not looking for nicotine. They were looking for something else: connection, ritual, and maybe answers. Tens of thousands of years ago, humans discovered that certain plants behaved differently when burned. Some produced stronger smells, some created unusual smoke, some changed the atmosphere around the fire. Archaeologists have found evidence that ancient humans burned aromatic plants, herbs, and seeds inside caves. At the time, smoke was not entertainment. It was an experience, a way to communicate with the invisible world. Because smoke had one mysterious quality: it went upward, into the sky, into the unknown, and ancient humans noticed. Many prehistoric cultures believed smoke connected the human world with something beyond it. The spirits, the ancestors, the forces of nature. The same thing that warmed their bodies could also carry their thoughts into the sky. But then, something changed. Humans began discovering plants that did more than smell good. They changed the brain. The tobacco plant contains nicotine, a chemical that affects the nervous system. It increases dopamine activity. It creates feelings of alertness and reward. And humans discovered this relationship thousands of years ago, not through science, through experimentation. Someone noticed, this plant does something. And they passed that knowledge forward. But why would humans start smoking in the first place? Why intentionally inhale smoke? The answer may reveal something deeper about human nature. Humans have always searched for altered experiences, from ancient ceremonies to modern technology, from cave paintings to music. The human brain has always asked one question: what else is possible? Smoking was not created because humans were weak. It was created because humans were curious. The same curiosity that created tools, the same curiosity that created art, the same curiosity that made humans look at the stars and ask why. But smoking also came with a hidden cost. The same plant that created pleasure could damage the body. And thousands of years later, this ancient behavior would transform into one of the largest industries in human history. When Europeans arrived in the Americas in the 15th century, they encountered indigenous peoples using tobacco in ceremonies and social rituals. Explorers carried tobacco back across the Atlantic. Within decades, tobacco spread throughout Europe. A plant that began beside ancient fires eventually became a global obsession. But the story did not begin with factories. It did not begin with cigarettes. It began with a human sitting beside a fire. watching smoke disappear into the night, wondering what would happen if they followed it. The first smoker was not looking for addiction, they were looking for discovery. And that may be the most human part of all, because every major invention in history began the same way. Someone saw something ordinary and asked, "What happens if I try?" Thousands of years before factories filled the world with smoke, humans were already experimenting with. Thousands of years before factories filled the world with smoke, humans were already experimenting with the invisible. They watched fire transform plants into something completely different. They watched smoke rise, disappear, and leave behind a feeling they could not explain. They did not understand chemistry. They did not understand the nervous system. They did not know about nicotine, but they understood something through experience. Some plants changed the way the mind worked, and that discovery connected humans to smoke for thousands of years. The first smokers were not surrounded by advertisements. They were not buying products. They were sitting beside fires in a world without cities, without writing, and without modern medicine. A world where every discovery came from observation. Fire taught humans how to cook. Plants taught humans how to heal, and smoke taught humans how to explore their own minds. The same curiosity that pushed humans to experiment with plants also pushed them to create tools, art, and technology. It was the same force that led someone to carve the first stone tool, the same force that led someone to paint the walls of a cave, the same force that made humans search beyond what they already knew. Smoking began as a small moment beside a fire, but that moment revealed something much larger about humanity. Humans have always searched for experiences beyond ordinary life. Sometimes that search created inventions, sometimes it created traditions, and sometimes it created dangers that lasted for generations. The history of smoking is not only the history of a plant. It is the history of curiosity, of experimentation, and of a species that has always tried to understand the world by changing it. Thousands of years ago, an ancient human watched smoke rise into the darkness. They did not know where it would lead. They did not know that the same plant would one day cross oceans and reshape societies. They only knew that something about the smoke was different, and that single discovery became part of the human story. The first smoker was not someone searching for a cigarette. It was someone searching for an answer. And that question still follows humanity today. What else is hidden inside the things we have not yet tried?